This is a channeled message from the angels about how they experience our frequency, and it isn't exactly how you'd expect. So thanks for coming back to my channel. Great to see you guys. And for those of you who are new to my channel, I am Ann Tucker. I'm a trance channel. I channel from the angelic realm. That means I raise my awareness up as high as I can go and a little higher, and I connect, and then the messages come through and I write them down and I share them here with you on YouTube. And today's message is about how sort of like the contortions that the angels have to go through in order to come down into our frequency and to speak with us. But then it talks about what happens when they do. And it's a beautiful message, and it really helps in terms of understanding our own awareness. So if you want to hear more messages like this one, I do channel every Friday. I share new messages, so I would love it if you would subscribe using that little button down below. And if you enjoy the message, please do like the video. It does help me a lot in terms of YouTube's algorithm. So I would appreciate it. And like I said, if you subscribe, you will get new messages every Friday. So enjoy the message. So here it is. Let's dig in. They say, we can now speak within the context of your own becoming. How you are perceiving and understanding the context that you are in. Our words, our voices, shrill and sharp to our awareness, become harmony in your own mind. So what they're saying here is that the angels take on a frequency when they come in to try to work with us or try to speak with us. They have to take on a frequency that's not their normal frequency. And to their mind, they describe it as shrill and sharp, that it's an uncomfortable frequency and it's not their own frequency. They take on a secondary frequency that allows them to come down to our level. As bad as that sounds, but it's true. They have to bring themselves down into our vibration. So they take on this, what they describe as a shrill and sharp frequency to be able to communicate with us. They say, okay, so our words, our voices, shrill and sharp to our awareness, become harmony in your own mind. They harmonize to create a frequency of understanding and harmony with ourselves. We call this into ourselves, they call the frequency into themselves, to help your path forward. We bring in this noise affronting that we can endure, a song of depth profound, of heaviness that does ring upon the air in frequency with yourselves, as you are divinely held there upon the surface of the planet. So they're really saying that this is, like they said, they call it in, they say it's not pleasant, but they can totally deal with it. It's sort of like, when you have a baby, you change the diapers, and you don't even mind it. Like you just love them. And that's how they're kind of describing it, that they just love us, even though this frequency that they have to take on in order to kind of be with us in our day to day is not a great thing, but they don't mind it. Like they said, they can totally endure it. And it's because of how much they love us, they don't even mind it. But they describe it as that it's a song of like profound depth and heaviness. So, and hi to you guys who are joining now. It's great to see you guys. So they go on to say, indeed, our experience of the vibration is not what you would imagine, but we are accustomed as you would to something or someone you love. The disharmonic clamor calls upon our affection and draws us nearer to yourselves. We say this instructionally to help guide your understanding of yourselves. I love how they added that. They're like, we're not just telling you this to like be jerks. We're telling you because we love you. We're trying to help you learn about yourselves. So yeah, they take on this like slightly unpleasant vibration in order to come down like onto the earth plane and be here with us and be talking with us. And they describe it as like this heavy, heavy frequency that they take on, this kind of shrill and sharp disharmonic clamor, they describe it. So they go on to say, the disharmonic clamor we interrupt with our own selves. We speak in harmony with the selves within you all. We speak and create a noise unlike the other, a calm in frequency, a feeling of subsidence and peace within. Your agitation may override our noise as we are not suppressing the self, merely enchanting, inviting, offering ourselves as an option to consider in your thoughts. An introduction. So from this, I understand that they take on this sort of clamor, this unpleasant frequency to kind of come down and be here with us and to be in our space and to kind of get into our awareness. But once they're within us, they bring in their own voice, right? And they say they speak in harm. They say that they interrupt that clamor noise that they have with their own selves. So they start to come forward within us. And then they speak, they said, a noise unlike the other. So it's just like from their own ears, it's their own beautiful song. And it brings in sort of a feeling of calm and the feeling of silence and peace. So things sort of calm inside of us when they do this, when they are inside and they bring forward their own selves. It's like we feel kind of a peace coming over us. And they say that they could be doing that, and our own agitation, we may not be receptive to it. We might just override it, because they say they're never going to force anything on us. But they're just sort of, it's there sort of like a background sound. Like they're like kind of like, it's like we can tune into it, sort of like when you're outside and there's a moment of stillness, and then all of a sudden you hear the birds and you realize that they were there all the time. It's just now you're noticing them. And that's kind of the idea of this, is that they're there, and we can choose to override it with our own chaos. But if we tune in, it's there. So whether you may choose to identify or not, peace becomes you well. You have our signature inside and may well recognize the imprint of ourselves as we rise within. You feel a peace, a calm, a shift in your awareness as anxiety and trouble transform your energy to become more harmonious with the self. And I really do think this reminds me of those moments, like I said, where you could be rushing around, and then you all of a sudden it's like that calm comes over you, and you become aware of the stillness, or you become aware of some maybe it's the sound of water going by, or like I said, the birds, or something that you didn't hear that was there, but it's like you tune into it. And when you do, you can feel your whole system sort of drop in, and that calm comes in. And that calm is what they're describing, is that there's signature inside of us. It's like they're there, and we can recognize that imprint as this sort of, they're rising within us as that calm. So we feel it as a dropping, they feel it as a rising within us, right? That they are coming up and becoming present within us. And we feel it as like a dropping, a calm. So it's really almost like, imagine a sort of meeting in the middle, right? But they're in there all the time. And Rebecca's saying, how many times have we overridden? Yeah, right? A lot. So, okay. So they go on to say, for friction within is all we seek to contain in new form. We wish to bring internal peace, so you may express yourself from a place of harmonic congruency, where you can emanate the self, free from internal contradictions and reductions of your own influence, power, and significance. So they're really saying they're not trying to change us or contain us. The only thing they're trying to contain in new form is the friction, the chaos within us. They're trying to put that into a new form, which is, in other words, to have our expression come out as more of who we really are. So they're trying to they come in with this chaos harmony, this chaos frequency, then they interrupt it with their own sound. Once they're in, they bring up their own internal peace, and then we can choose to notice it or not. And the reason they're doing it is trying to bring us into harmonic congruency, trying to bring us aligned with ourselves. And it's all about our expression. Like, that's really their goal through all of us, is trying to get us to express our true inner self. Like, any way that we can do it, they want to help us do it. So they're trying to bring us into this congruency, so that they're saying that they want this place of harmonic congruency where you can emanate the self, free from internal contradictions and reductions in your own influence, power, and significance. So that's really what it's all about. Like, our whole thing we're doing here on earth is trying to get over our internal contradictions, the places where we're standing. We call it standing in our own way, the place where we experience friction between our beliefs and the things that we place in front of ourselves and the truth of who we really are. And that's the only thing we're ever fighting against, is that, which is so frustrating when you're just like, gosh, how can I get out of my own way? It's so hard to see ourselves. But that's what they're trying to help us do. So they go on to say, we say you are dwelling in a space of internal disharmony, and we do intrude on your thoughts to bring a vision, a thought or idea that does bring into alignment those selves within that are too often in contradiction with each other. This internal peace, the signature of which we spoke, the divine spark within, may take note, may hear our voice, our call, our planted thought, a whisper of opportunity, and hear it and resonate within the calm it provides. And this does raise the awareness within. Call forward the guidance of your own internal harmonic frequency. And you do begin to vibrate renewed. Your glorious self in harmony, a resonance of frequency so delightful, we are in awe of the self. We do call it forward in delightful anticipation. Please do sing it for us now. I love that. And I love that image of them just like standing by, like waiting for the minute that we come into alignment, like waiting for those moments of peace where we tune in, where we drop in and we feel ourselves, right? They're just standing there like waiting for it. Like, and they're just this anticipation. You could just see it like, oh, I can't wait. It's just, they're very cute sometimes. So yeah, Rebecca's saying delightful anticipation. I love that. And by the way, to get back to that idea of how hard this is for us to do this, like it always reminds me, you guys know that I have the soul type system and the soul type quiz. Like, how do you understand what your soul type is? And I mean, you guys have been working on yourselves for a long time. And because of that, taking a quiz like that is easier for you. Because if I ask you a question like, how fast do you make decisions? Are you slower than or faster than another person? There's a level of self-awareness that you have that you can reflect and know like what that is. But I cannot tell you the number of people. I would say it's 50%. 50% of people have an incredibly hard time answering those questions, a really hard time, because they don't always, their awareness is usually projected out, and they're not looking back at themselves in the context of their surroundings. So trying to do those assessments, any kind of like personality assessment, they might get a different result every time they do it because it's so hard to, and it takes such practice at seeing yourself, right? It's a process of perceiving and then sort of testing that in your environment, and then perceiving and then testing, right? It's really, really hard, that level of self-understanding. So what they're talking about here, I think this is getting right to it. Is they're saying they're trying to help us do it by coming in with this frequency, this chaos that that kind of harmonizes with our jumble, and then trying to bring up this signature they're talking about. So, all right. So they go on to say, they're talking about this harmonic frequency with a glorious self and harmony, a resonance of frequency so delightful. We are in awe of the self, and they do call it forward in delightful anticipation. Please do sing it for us now. They go on to say, we do wish more of it to be heard. We call it forward, this internal harmonic truth of self, and whisper our peaceful distraction from the many selves within that do tear asunder and call you outward, your own disharmonic emanation that does create without the chaos that ensues in life. So they're really talking about this internal chaos that we have that's what we're usually projecting out into the world. And that's what's creating, when they say without, they mean outside of ourselves. That's what's creating the chaos in our lives. And they're trying to sort of calm that so we can bring back in that wonderful, that glorious self that they're talking about. So they go on to say, we do begin to understand each other. We do ask the self to acknowledge the moments of clarity. When do you feel and see yourself in peaceful mind, in calm embrace of your own delight? See your friction now derailed, set aside, disentwined from this experience you are having. The moment, the peace, the thought uplifting, the grace that ensues. You feel it, we know, and have in these moments communion with the self as no other. You harmonize your internal being and bring into alignment all that you are creating. And we are nearby to enjoy, to applaud, to sing in harmonic resonance with your delightful frequency. We thank you for each of these moments we treasure. And I think that not only is that just gorgeous, but it also makes me think of what they've said in the past, that when we are creating, when we are in alignment, it's like they pick up that frequency and emphasize it. They expand it. It's like they are helping us with our projection, with what it is that we're trying to create in the world. So I can see them as sort of, they're saying here that they sing along with it. They pick up that frequency and they amplify it. So they're really helping us to try to gravitate towards ourselves, that sort of ideal, the reality that we would really love to have for ourselves. So they go on to say, you are growing in alignment as time passes, as we move further from the chaos of dishevelment and into the harmonic pole of greater awakening. You are becoming more of yourselves, and we sit to prepare for our enjoyment of it. We thank you now with our embrace. So gorgeous, right? Gorgeous message. And they're really saying here, they're referring to the fact that we are moving more and more into our awakening. You are growing in alignment as time passes, that we are moving, that as more of our, we're just, dispelling more and more of our karma, getting more and more clear, that we're moving further from the chaos of dishevelment and into the harmonic pole of greater awakening. So I really feel like as we are moving forward through all of this process that we're engaged in now, the chaos that's going on in the world, the chaos that's going inside of ourselves, it's speeding up. All of it is speeding up and helping us to move further and further toward this great awakening. And I don't know how many of you have had recent confrontations in yourself, like things come up, major life issues that had to be cleared. Like maybe there was some stew that you've been sitting in, a difficult circumstance you've been sitting in and accepting for a long time. And then just recently, like kaboom, like something happened that like, okay, this is going to come up and right in your face right now. You're going to deal with it now. Right. And how did that resolve? Like, or maybe it was an internal thing where you all of a sudden saw something like blinders off, saw it with clarity in a way that you hadn't before. And I'm going to guess this within the last 2 weeks, that if you think back across the last 2 weeks, I bet you there's something like that happened, and a big one, like not a little one, a big one. And I wonder what it was. Like, if you feel comfortable sharing with us, share, because I would love to know. I had one about an understanding of a dynamic, a family dynamic, where there was, an understanding of where is it that we are so busy pleasing other people that we aren't really realizing that something is really more important to us than it is to them. Like, where are we giving away too much of ourselves? Right. And there was a sort of blinders off of seeing, and it's something that was a childhood pattern. And that I just all of a sudden reframed it. And it was like, oh my gosh, it felt so healing. Awareness can be so healing. So I definitely had one of those, and it came, from dreams and the whole thing. So, so I wonder if you guys had one too, but I know just about everybody I talk to has had this sort of thing come up just in the last 2 weeks. Like I said, it could be a thing like maybe you had, maybe you're in a living situation or a friend situation or a spouse situation that's really like not happening, that is really difficult, or you shouldn't be in, or whatever it is, something that is pushing your own energy down, right? That's taxing and sucking energy out of you. And so maybe that really came into focus. So whatever it was, like, reflect back, and it's happening, right? They are pushing us. There's more energy coming through, helping us to make these important leaps forward. And they love it, right? They're standing by waiting for those moments when we drop in and we come into alignment with ourselves. And then they're there. You can just hear them like applauding and so excited for us, and then helping us to emanate and amplify. And really, like, it's like, think of those moments of clarity. They really want to, like, okay, create from here. Like, you're in alignment, quick, get behind her and push and make it this life, make that life be the truth. So anyways, I hope you guys like this message as much as I did. I loved it. They just really are beautiful in how they speak with us. I hope you guys are looking forward to a beautiful weekend. I'm going to a wedding tomorrow. I haven't been to a wedding in so long, so I am really excited to go. I love weddings. So hopefully you guys have something wonderful planned, some time with family, time with friends, or just to enjoy the weather. So have a great time. I'm sending you guys big hugs, and I will see you next Friday live. Bye, you guys.